Hi, my name is Stewart Mann, and I'm here in Atlanta, in the state of Georgia, in the southeastern part of the United States. And I'm here with a kindness story for our Advent calendar. This story comes from the Cherokee people, the native or indigenous people of this part of North America. And the story says that it was wintertime, as it is here in where I live right now. And in the wintertime, it was starting to get very cold, and so all of the birds were flying to the south to be in the warmer weather for the winter. But there was one little bird that had a broken wing, and this little bird could not fly. So the little bird went hopping along the forest floor, looking for somewhere to stay, for a solution or a home. And the little bird looked up and saw a birch tree. And the little bird called up to the birch tree and said, "Birch tree, may I take shelter in your branches?" But the birch tree said, "No, I have to take care of my own leaves. I'm not going to take care of a little bird." And so the bird hopped along and went hopping and saw an oak tree. And the little bird said, "Oak tree, may I find a place to shelter in your branches for the winter?" And the oak tree said, "No, if you come and live in my branches, why, you are sure to eat my acorns. I don't want that. Go on." And then the little bird saw a willow tree with its leaves hanging down sadly. And the little bird called up, "Oh, willow tree, may I take shelter in your branches?" But the willow tree said, "No, I don't talk to strangers. Leave me alone. Go on." So the little bird hopped along, not sure what to do, when it came under a spruce tree with its bright green needles. And the spruce tree called down and said, "Little bird, what are you doing? Why aren't you flying south?" And little bird said, "Well, because I have a broken wing. I need to find a place to shelter for the winter." And spruce tree said, "Oh, you can come and shelter in my branches. My needles will keep you warm." And just then, Pine tree heard, and Pine tree said, "Oh, little bird, I don't have a place for you to shelter, but I am very large, and my branches will shelter you from the wind and keep the wind from blowing on you." And so little bird climbed up into the branches of the spruce tree, and just then Juniper noticed and said, "Little bird, you must be hungry. If you'd like, you can nibble on my little blue berries during the winter." And so little bird stayed in the spruce tree and was sheltered by the pine tree and ate the berries of the juniper tree. Well, that day it got very cold, and the north wind was blowing, and the north wind loved to blow. And so the north wind went to his father, the frost king, and said, "Father, may I blow all the leaves and needles off the branches of the trees?" Because that's what he loved to do. But the frost king said, "Oh, my son, you may blow leaves and needles off some of the trees. You may blow them off the oak and the birch and the willow, for they were not kind to that little bird. But because the others, the spruce and the pine and the juniper, they are taking care of their little friend, let them keep their needles and leaves through the winter." And according to this story from the Cherokee, that's how it has been ever since the north wind blew and blew and blew all the leaves off of those trees, the willow and the spruce and the birch and the oak, but left the leaves, the needles, on the trees of the juniper, the pine, and the spruce. And according to this story, that is why we have some trees that lose their leaves, we call them the deciduous trees, and some trees that keep their leaves and needles, those are the evergreens. And it's all because of the story of Little Bird and the evergreens. I'm Stewart Mann. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you.